What is going on, everybody? It is Noobski94, and today we're going to be talking about balanced Druid PvP in Legion 7.0.3. So I want to do a little bit of a class overview with you guys, kind of like explain exactly how balanced Druids are played right now, go through their pros and cons of the class, kind of go over their moves itself, and then share with you guys my personal build on balanced Druids and how I like to play balanced Druid in PvP. So to start things off, let's talk about the balanced Druid's mobility. So for their first move, there is Displacer Beast. Teleports you 25 yards forward, activating cat form and increasing your movement speed by 50% for 4 seconds. Now Displacer Beast is a talent. The other option for mobility is Wild Charge. This is the description of the move right here for you guys if you want to look into it, but it is simply not good enough right now if you're going to be playing balance in PvP. Next we have Dash. Activates cat form and increases movement speed by 70% while in cat form for 15 seconds. Now this is a really cool move because cat form is already going to give you a 30% movement speed increase, so this is going to stack up with the 70% movement speed increase Dash is going to give you, which is going to total up to a 100% movement speed increase for 15 seconds. So you're essentially mounted for 15 seconds. And by shape-shifting in and out of different forms, you're going to be removing any type of rooting done to your character. Next, we're going to talk about the defense of the balanced Druid. Moonkin form is already going to passively increase your armor by 200%. Now you can increase this passive armor bonus by an additional 75% in the Scythe of the Loon talent tree. If you go ahead and level up your bladed feathers, it's going to increase per rank the amount of armor you're going to receive from Moonkin form by an additional 25%, up to a maximum of 75% increased armor. Out of Moonkin form, when I'm in BGs, I have about a 22% damage reduction of physical damage, and then when I do hop into Moonkin form, it's going to bump that 22% reduction of physical damage up to 55%, so you're going to be taking a little bit less than half from all types of melee damage. Then we have Bark Skin. Your skin becomes as tough as bark and reduces all damage you take by 20% and preventing damage from delaying your spell casts last 12 seconds. Now 20% isn't very much defense at all. It's gonna basically allow you to survive bursts if you have a healer in your team. Overall, when you are going one-on-one with somebody or two-on-one with somebody, it's not really gonna mitigate much damage at all. And lastly, we have Bear Form. Bear Form is going to increase your armor by 200% and it's going to also increase your stamina by 55%. So it's going to jump you from about 2 million health to 3 million health. Now, this is a pretty good move for when you're being bursted down by targets. It's going to give you a significant health increase, and it's also going to give you quite a bit of armor as well, and it's going to allow your healer to heal you up through the bursting process. But in Bear Form, there is no way you're going to be able to do any damage to the target unless if you've already applied your Moonfire and Sunfire dot to the target. So it is not a very effective defensive move. It only allows you to survive bursting damage. So that's the defense balanced Druids have. I personally think it is actually quite low right now. In 2v2 arena, it is almost impossible to play balance right now. You get bursted very quickly. You pretty much instantly die with some combinations. I know, like a Demon Hunter Warrior combo, you're dead. But if you are doing threes or you're doing rated battlegrounds, the defensive moves you have are going to allow you to survive through bursty situations and give your healer an upper hand with keeping you alive. Lastly, we're going to talk about the CC of a Druid. So the Druid has 3 main CC moves. First we have Mighty Bash, which is a talent, and it is a instant cast 5-second stun with a 50-second cooldown. Next we have Mass Entanglement. Now this is an instant cast root, and when you root your initial target, it's going to spread to every other target around that initial target. I think it is a pretty good CC move, not so much in arena for it's only a root. A 5-second stun is going to be a lot more effective, but in rated battlegrounds it is very effective because you could completely halt their entire team with a very powerful AoE snare. These are the only 2 moves I would consider. Typhoon is just too weak right now. It's always been a fairly weak move. It pushes people back. It's kind of fun for knocking people off ledges, but that's kind of the only purpose of it right now. Lastly, we have Cyclone. Now, I'm sure everybody knows what Cyclone is. Cyclone is one of the best CCing moves in the game. It makes you completely immune to all types of damage and all effects. Your trinket is the only way you're going to be able to get out of it. It's a 6-second stun, and then you could go ahead and recast it for the diminishing return of 3 seconds and then 1.5 seconds. So it's going to be like a total of around 10 seconds stun time if you do it properly. So now we're going to take a look at the talent tree that I personally like to build for myself. I'm going to show you the single target burst talent tree build, and then the crazy AoE damage talent tree I like to build for rated battlegrounds or just battlegrounds in general. So first, for a level 15 talent, you're going to get Warrior of a Loon. Your next 2 lunar strikes are instant cast. This is obviously going to apply additional burst to your rotation. Force of Nature just isn't used at all right now, and Starlord is purely PvE. And then you're going to get Displacer Beast. As we talked about before, it is your best defensive move. And then for your level 45 talent, it is actually quite situational. There is my personal favorite, which is Feral Affinity. It is going to increase your movement speed by an additional 15%, but what's really nice about this is that you're going to have Rake. Rake will allow you to open up with a 4-second stun in PvP, which will typically force people's trinkets. And then you have Guardian Affinity, which is going to reduce all the damage you take by 10%. This is an awesome talent to choose for a very high burst composition, so you can survive the burst damage that they're going to be dealing to you. And then you have Restoration Affinity. Restoration Affinity gives you Ysera's Gift, which heals you for 3% of your maximum health every 5 seconds. Super awesome sustained healing. And it also gives you Rejuvenation, Regrowth, and Swiftment, which makes you kind of like an off healer in Arena or RBGs. So all 3 of these moves are very situational. It's totally up to you what you want to do, and it really depends on your team that you're going to be with / fighting against. Then the following 2 talents is going to be defining your AoE damage or your single target burst. So starting off with single target burst, you're going to want to do Chosen of a Loon. Originally you have Celestial Alignment, and it's going to increase the damage you deal with all spells by 30%, and increase the astral power generation by lunar and solar wrath by 50%, lasts for 15 seconds. If you go to Incarnation Chosen of a Loon, it will replace this move, and it's going to increase that damage by an additional 5% for a total of 35% additional damage, and it is also going to increase the duration from 15 seconds to 30 seconds. And then you're going to do Astral Communion. Astral Communion is going to grant you 75 astral power instantly. This is going to allow you to cast 2 additional Star Surges instantly if you set it up properly. And then lastly, we're going to do Stellar Drift. It is going to increase your Starfall's damage by 20%, increase the radius of Starfall by 30%, and it is also going to allow you to move around in the Starfall's radius while casting. Now for setting yourself up for AoE damage for battlegrounds. You're going to want to get Soul of the Forest. It's going to increase the damage bonus from both your lunar and solar empowerments by an additional 15%. We're not really worrying about that too much. What we are focusing on is that it's going to reduce the astral power cost of Starfall. So now Starfall is only going to actually cost you 50 astral power instead of 60. And then we're going to do Shooting Stars for our level 90 talent. Moonfire and Sunfire damage over time has a 10% chance to call down a falling star, dealing about 10,000 astral damage and generating 4 astral power. This is going to increase the damage done by both your dots because you're going to get a 10% random proc for a 10,000 additional damage done. And it's also going to generate you 4 astral power, which is critical to generate enough astral power to use Starfall. And then of course for your level 100 talent, you're going to go to Stellar Drift, which is your AoE damage. Now we're going to talk about how the single target burst rotation works with all of our talents, and how the AoE damage is going to work with the talents as well. So first I'm going to talk about single target burst. We're going to take a look at our move New Moon. Now New Moon is going to be a 0.8 second cast time, 15-second recharge, generates 10 astral power, and it will deal about 100,000 astral damage to the target and empowers New Moon to become Half Moon. So once you use New Moon, it immediately changes itself into Half Moon. Half Moon is just like New Moon, but instead the cast time is about doubled, and the damage is also about doubled, and it is also going to generate double the astral power. So basically it's just double the damage, double the cast time, and double the astral generation New Moon had originally. Now New Moon and Half Moon, we're not going to worry too much about these moves. Typically when I'm in PvP, I'm just going to blow off these 2 moves just so I can proc Full Moon, because Full Moon is going to be the critical move you need to have set to do a massive amount of burst. So what the burst rotation is going to look like is you're going to first want to generate a minimum of 45 astral power before you start your burst. As soon as you have 45 astral power and you want to burst a target, you're going to first cast Full Moon on the target. Full Moon is going to deal about 480,000 astral damage to the target without critting, and it's also going to generate you 40 astral power. This is going to add up to your 45 astral power you already have, so you should have a minimum of 85 astral power. The next move you're going to be using in your rotation is Star Surge. Star Surge launches a surge of stellar energies at the target, dealing 177,000 astral damage. Also grants you lunar and solar empowerment, which increases the damage done by your next lunar strike and solar wrath by 60% respectively. So after dropping Full Moon on your target, you're going to be able to cast Star Surge twice. As soon as you cast Star Surge twice, you're going to hit Astral Communion. You should have 5 Astral Power left over after double casting your Star Surge. Then by casting Astral Communion, you're going to gain 75 Astral Power, which is going to be a total of 80, and it's going to allow you to double cast your Star Surge again for a total of 4 Star Surges. As soon as you fire out your 4th Star Surge, you're going to hit Warrior of Elune. Your next 2 Lunar Strikes are going to instant cast, and then you're going to hit the target with 2 more Lunar Strikes. Keep in mind that Star Surge has given you your Lunar Strike empowerment, which is going to increase the damage done by your Lunar Strike by an additional 60%. So when you double cast your Lunar Strike, you're going to be dealing the damage of 3 Lunar Strikes rather than 2. So that's what a Moonkin's Burst looks like. A full moon, 4 Star Surges, and 2 Lunar Strikes, all within about 4 to 5 seconds with one another. Next, we're going to be talking about the AoE damage that Moonkins have, and this is how I like to build my Moonkin when I am doing BGs or rated battlegrounds for heavy AoE damage, so it pressures their healers and stresses them out and burns mana. So you're going to switch Incarnation Chosen of Elune over to Soul of the Forest, and you're also going to switch Astral Communion to Shooting Stars. Now you're also going to want the perk Sunblind on your Scythe of Elune. It's going to increase the radius of Sunfire by an additional 5 yards. So now Sunfire has a 10-yard radius for applying its dot. So how this is going to look in a battleground scenario is you're going to apply Sunfire to typically 1 or 2 targets, which is going to apply the dot to absolutely everybody. And then Shooting Stars are going to start to take action and fall on these dotted targets. Then you're going to go ahead and Moonfire and continuously tab over to new targets and apply Moonfire to each target. As more targets become dotted up, your Astral Power is going to increasingly speed up in generation. As soon as you have 50 Astral Power built up, you're going to go ahead and drop Starfall and continue to refresh your Moonfire dots. If you do come across a high priority target like a healer, or if your team does need somebody to be specifically bursted down, then you're going to do your single target burst rotation. Now the reason why Moonkins are so amazing in AoE right now is because primarily of Starfall. Starfall calls down waves of falling stars at the target area, dealing about 150,000 astral damage over 8 seconds. Also apply Stellar Empowerment to each target, which increases the damage taken from your Moonfire and Sunfire by, I think it's 70% in Battlegrounds and Arena with no stat bonuses. That's an incredible amount of damage. By following this tactic, you're almost always going to have first place damage in all of the Pug Battlegrounds you do, and you're also going to be a very valuable asset to your team in rated Battlegrounds. Lastly, I want to quickly go over the honor talents so you guys know which ones to do for Battlegrounds specifically. You want to do Train of Thought, which is going to increase the damage done by 15%, but if you do get attacked, it will be suppressed for 8 seconds. You want to give yourself a lot of distance from the actual fight itself in a battleground, so you can keep this 15% additional damage always active. And then you want to do Celestial Downpour. It increases the damage done by your Starfall by 30%. This is going to go ahead and stock up with Stellar Drift, which is going to be a total of 50% additional damage done by Starfall. And lastly, you want to get Twin Moonfire. Whenever you Moonfire another nearby injured enemy within 40 yards of the target free of cost. This is going to half the amount of time you need to spend on applying the dot of Moonfire, and it will allow you to focus on bursting down high priority targets and building Astral Power for more Starfalls. So I hope you guys liked my overview / guide on balanced druids. I hope you did learn a little bit of something in my video. If you did, be sure to give me a like, it would be much appreciated. And if you do want to see more WoW content, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be posting a video every second day or so. So yeah, thanks again for watching guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.